Yeah, welcome back. Big second hour coming your way. Let's get straight into the KFC Finger Licking Good Waffle update. A big win deserves KFC ordered today. And our next guest, he's come in studio to visit us. We're excited about that. It's exciting to watch him play as he embarks on a future AFL career. We're talking about Fremantle NGA product from South Fremantle, Toby Whan. Toby, welcome to the run home.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
And we've been chatting. We've just worked out that we went to the same high school, the great Mazenod College.
It's great up there in the hills.
You know, Scotty Cummings, who normally sits in that seat on the breakfast show, he too went to that school.
Plenty of Mazenod people going around. I hear it every now and then pop up in conversations, and it opens my eyes a bit, but yeah.
The funny thing is you had no idea that I went there, and you probably have no idea about my career, but that's okay because you're only 18 and you grew up in Rolling Stone. Take us back to your life growing up in that part of Western Australia.
It's been really good, I reckon. Just out in the bush a bit, which is nice and quiet, and small little family and friends, it's been really nice creating good bonds and having a really nice family to help me upbring. But yeah.
Was it always footy for you, or were you pretty good at most sports?
Always sort of been footy. Like I played a little bit of t-ball and baseball from a young age, but winter was always the big time of the year with three boys and two brothers. So yeah, it's been huge playing footy.
And you've been strutting your stuff for South Fremantle for a number of years. Talk us through the role that they've played, of course, now with the Colts team, and they sit atop the premiership ladder. Yeah,
it's been a few years since 14s as a development squad, so slowly working my way up through there, and it's, every 6 months sort of thing. At that age, you sort of come in and do a bit of a month block or sort of thing and then play a game, it's been pretty good at that young age, having some good coaches coach you along. And then now that we're getting to the more serious stuff, it's been huge playing Colts footy for the last 2 years. And then, having some really good coaches at South lead the way. So it's been awesome.
I want to know more about those coaches because when I went through the pathway, there's a couple of coaches at Mazenod, but also through the development squads, Gary McDonald and Ray Lawrence, two of those people for me. But who have been the ones instrumental for you?
Probably hugely this year, Matt Rogers. I'm not with the Colts boys training too much, but whenever I'm down there, he's always will talk me through things pre-game, go through some stuff with me, which has been really handy and makes everything really clear on his expectations on game day, because I'm not there Tuesdays and review, so I'm not really in depth on how I'm going or what my role is, but he's been really clear with that, so it's been really good. And then as a mid sort of thing, Glenn, he's been massive over the last few years, with all the basic sort of craft whenever we can and midfield work and running patterns and keeping us really accountable and making sure we're playing as best footy as we can, so it's been huge.
Is it challenging for those players that are in the state program that you're training with them a fair bit, but then you get released on the odd occasion to go back to your Colts team?
I don't know. I think it's obviously challenging sometimes, I guess, with the amount of training you're not doing with your waffle clubs, but then everyone's sort of linked in with what you're expected to be doing, so the state program's really big on that and been really handy. And then, it's probably been a bit of a challenge sometimes now that Fred and I are training with the league team or the seniors this year, so we haven't been to the Colts too much, but we try and go down whenever we can sort of thing, but yeah.
Do you still harbour any ambitions to get a league debut with South Fremantle, given that they're absolutely flying on top?
Well, we got one more game of the season to play, but, it would be an awesome achievement. I've had it as a goal all year, but, they're an amazing team. They're flying at the moment, so, I don't know, it would be a bit of a challenge, but...
Is it competitive between you and Fred Rodriguez, who you mentioned that you've been sort of doing the same program with? Is that something that you sort of strive yourself on, that you're going to hold each other accountable to try and reach the pinnacle?
Yeah, definitely. We'll always talk about footy stuff and compete with everything we can. We're massive competitors at training. We're always going to go head-to-head, and whenever we can do a one-on-one sort of situation, there's no token pressure really. It's just gun-ho and make sure we can either beat each other or challenge each other as best we can. So that's been a massive help over the last few years, having someone really close to you sort of push you along the way. So I'm really grateful for that. that he's been there, and he's really, really good at the moment. So he's hopefully going to hit his pinnacle.
I don't think I've seen him get 41 disposals and 4 goals in the Colts this year like you did. And then I saw the vision of that. The ground wasn't in the best condition for that, very wet and muddy. But how'd you review your performance?
Yeah, it's definitely best performance I've ever had over my career. So it's been, I don't know, big few weeks people asking about it. But yeah, the ground wasn't in too good of nick. So I don't know if it either helped with sort of the ball moving a bit slower to make sure I could keep up with it, or made it a little bit harder being clean. But I thought I was really clean over the day, so that helped a lot. And then, I don't know, I thought that my running was massive. Like high-speed running was pretty good, and my Ks and everything. So all the coaches were really chuffed with my contest work and my running. So that's probably what got
So that's a big part of your game, the running. When you sort of look at some of the other players that you modelled your game on across the AFL competition, is there anyone that you think is pretty similar to you?
Probably, I don't know, I always try and look towards Hayden Young a bit with the left foot. Now he's going inside, and a few years ago I was playing off the half-back and off the wing, so I sort of look to him on the way he plays, and he's really good in the contest, but he's also a really hard worker over the ground and got a really good left foot, so I'd love to be just like him.
Could be teammates at the end of the year. Talk us through when you sort of first learn about the Next Generation Academy at the Fremantle Dockers and how that is viewed. Obviously, then everybody talks about you being that player. You're linked to that club in some way. Does that put a bit of extra pressure on you throughout the season?
Well, it's a little bit weird of a situation with how it all works and sort of stuff. Like, I don't know, people think I've cheated the system to get in because Mum was just born in South Africa.
So this is the overseas parent?
Yeah. So Mum was born in South Africa and then left when she was, 18, 15 months old, and then been living in Australia ever since, and Dad's just Australian, so it's, I don't know, people think it's a cheat code, but it's definitely working in my favour at the moment. And then, as you said, some people will ask the questions and a bit of pressure, but I don't know, I try not to look into it and think about it too much and just sort of go about my day or go about my week, and hopefully we can see how it all pans out at the end of the year.
So talk us through what it entails with the Next Generation Academy. When did you get there? How much have you done with them? And what sort of discussions have you had about the potential for next season?
We started roughly 14s, just similar to the South, and it's, you just do a bit of a month block and do a bit of training and then play against the Eagles Academy, which has been pretty cool.
So played them a few times. I've seen before some of the AFL games that there's been the results up on the big screen.
Yeah, so we've played at Optus a few years ago, which was a pretty cool feeling and goal that I ticked off. And then, you just play them a few times, maybe twice a year, maybe 3 times a year, which is pretty cool to compete with some fairly good talent on the other side of Perth sort of thing and find your way through the ranks. But then now it's getting a bit more serious with the elite squad, just a few people, and we go every second Monday. Well, I try to. With South stuff is pretty important at the moment, so I try and get down to the NGAs whenever I can, and it's just a bit more of a recovery and a skills session with Rog Hayden down there. But it's been a pretty cool journey, and then now it's been pretty cool going over and having the conversations.
I played with Roger. Just reminding about the Colts premiership back in the day that we won together. But sort of, you also got the opportunity to train with them over the summer. How valuable is that, sort of 12 months out, to have a real good picture of what it's going to be like? Yeah,
it was definitely huge. Like, obviously, you have the elite players that you sort of watch along the way of those trainings and see how they go about it. But it was probably just a big eye-opener of the day-to-day life. You sort of have everyone's vision on it, but then there's all the small little things with small craft, pre-training, the really simple stuff, but it's probably the most important over the big game, really. And then seeing how the gun players of the comp go about those sorts of things and make sure they're as best as they can at the simple things, because that's going to help them on game day. And then meetings and all those sorts of things, which might be the boring stuff, but it's happening every day and there's lots of it.
When you look at the Fremantle Dockers, is there a spot there for you? Of course, maybe the wing position could be yours in 12, 24, 36 months?
I've got no idea. I haven't really looked into it too much, but I mean, it would be a surreal thing to sort of do and achieve for a young kid that's been dreaming of it ever since I could walk or kick a footy or even think about footy, but I'm not really sure I would like to say. But
Let's talk about the bagels, because I did see the news the other day. Channel 10, I think, did a great story. Was it Channel 10?
Channel 9.
Sorry. I work for Channel 10. Channel 9 did a great story. You work making bagels in the morning. How long have you been doing that for?
Maybe 10 months roughly now. So, yeah, it's nice and early.
It's a part of like an apprenticeship or something that if footy wasn't to be the thing for you, that you could keep going down that track?
I mean, I could, but probably not too seriously. Like, it's a family friend who owns a business, so I just asked for some casual work while this year's been pretty important to me, so I just made sure I wasn't doing too much that's going to challenge my body physically, so I made sure that opened up the afternoon sort of slot for training, so that's been a perfect time because it's 6:30 in the morning to 2 o'clock or 12 o'clock depending on how much work we got for the day. But it's a bit of an interesting job sometimes, and definitely the teammates and coaches have plenty of questions about it.
Your form early in the season obviously got you into the national championships for Western Australia. Wasn't the outcome that I think we all wanted, but how'd you view your own carnival performance?
I thought my form going into it was really strong and thought I was going to be able to keep that going. But, I don't know, I thought I dropped off a little bit going through the champs, which wasn't the nicest thing, but I'm not sure. Coming out of it, Webby and Jones were really clear on how I performed and sort of what they expected for the back end of the year, but I feel like I've lifted again.
Have you had many meetings? You've been invited to the WA Combine as well. Any interest from some of the other clubs?
I've had a few meetings over the year. I don't know, some of them are a bit more serious, but most of them at the moment are just a bit of get to know you, chat, meet family and stuff like that. So, but yeah, it's been a pretty cool feeling meeting these, I guess, important people. But yeah.
You also went through the Cedar program at the Fremantle Dockers as well, and many kids these days, they have the option not just to go to the traditional pathways of school. Was that worthwhile for you?
Yeah, I thought it was really, really good for me. Like at Mazenod, it was obviously a really good school, as you would know. And then, I just sort of thought getting to year 10, I thought I might need a little change just to, I don't know, keep my attention and keep me focused on school, which Cedar sort of was that option with everything based on footy and your sport you select. But yeah, it was definitely a good change and I loved it and met some new people, and now I know some pretty important people in the AFL with a recruiter and some like Cara Antonio, so yeah.
Cara Juddy, I remember coaching her in her first year as well. I used to motivate the Mazenod year 11, so you would have just left. I used to get an invite up there every year to go and talk to them about future pathways. We're talking about pathways. Tom Seckel is here from Corporate Sports. He's your manager as well. Tom, welcome to you.
Thanks, mate. Thanks for having me.
Hey, talk us through your role and when you obviously took over the role of manager of Toby and what it entails throughout the draft year.
It basically comes in waves depending on the month of the year, really. A lot of the time, a lot of what we do is being that support mechanism for them. Every boys' sort of year at under 18 level is always going to be different. You're going to be different players are going to be accepted into different squads or make different teams or elevate up to different levels of football, and equally have different challenges. So first and foremost, it's that support mechanism we provide, and then having gone through it over a decade or more. For us as a team, it's just providing that advice and counsel for them.
It works for many and they do get drafted, but there's a lot that get left on the shelf. What's your advice to those sort of players and what role do you play from that point on if it doesn't happen the first time around?
It's pretty important to really be clear that, being 18 years old isn't your one opportunity to be on a list. Like it's not, they used to say that it's your draft year, which is, I don't really like that term because, your draft year can be any year. Like next year, there's 17-year-olds are going to get picked to go to Tassie for that crop, and then mature ages go all the way through till 25 almost. And we're seeing more and more that clubs are picking more of these mature age guys. So a lot of the time, if it doesn't happen, it's just being really clear with them, and they understand that, it can be a 2, 3, 4 year process, and you might have to go about it the tradesman's way, and just step up on the level and keep showing that you keep stepping up the grades, and vice versa. So part of it's just being there for them through that and just helping them understand that, because the last thing that you want is someone to then fall out of love with the game, because it is a really high pressure year for these guys, and there's a lot more media and scrutiny on the draft prospects. Like, there's so many social media accounts ranking players and top WA kids, top Victorian kids, all this kind of stuff. And
do the kids get caught up in it? And is your role to sort of try and steer them away from a lot of those lists?
Absolutely. It's hard not to. Like, you can't avoid it. It's everywhere. So, and it depends on the personality of the kid as well, and their environment at home, at school, around them. So everyone's different, but just trying to keep them grounded on that front, so that they don't, as I said, don't fall out of love with the game, and they don't get lost to the game, because the game, as you would know, mate, can provide so much to you no matter what level, like in terms of your life, friendship, networks, opportunities, local level, state level. It doesn't have to be the highest level. So the last thing you want is someone to, go through the pressures of a draft year and then go, you know what, this game's not for me. And then they walk away and they lose all those things. So it is important. So it is something that we focus on. What
attributes has Toby got that you think that's going to hold him in good stead when he gets his chance in the AFL?
He's a talented player, Toby. He's got a fantastic running capability. Naturally, like any player, he's got areas he's working on in his game. He's got a beautiful long left foot, which is always nice to have as well. So that combination of that running power, that work rate, and being able to go inside and out is really important. But like everyone, Toby's got a list of things that he's working on. Everyone can get better, and you talk to anyone who's at the highest level, they're still working on things. So, yeah.
How many players would you have that are going into their draft? Well, we don't like to use that word, but going into potentially getting drafted this year?
Yeah, we've got a handful of players. So I work with Andrew McDougall next door, as you know, and Dukes and I will take in a handful of players each. We don't like to take in too many into the draft, because we like to be a bit more personable, a bit more one-on-one with the players, and be able to spend a bit more time with them, as Toby would attest to on the golf course. Unfortunately, he hasn't got me there, but so we're taking a handful each, and then and then we sort of, as you know, mate, a lot of it is researching, being 15, 16, 17s coming through, and just being across all of those guys as well.
What's the regulation now in terms of the age that you can get access and a signature from these families?
We can talk to, say, the kids that are basically year 10 or 11, like they're 16s, they're under 16s this year. We can talk to them from the 1st of October if they want us to, so to speak. They've got the option to, but you can't actually sign an agent agreement until you're eligible for a draft. So basically after this draft, which is first rounds on the 19th of November, and then the second round, then the rookie 21st. So on the 22nd of November this year, all the kids who are bottom age 17s can then sign agreements if they want to, and then you can start to get to work with them. But when I say get to work, it's more that support mechanism, because a lot of these guys through the state program and through their waffle clubs have so much support around them already.
Steve from Bazzo says, hi, Hase, great interview with a good young bloke. Best comment from him was, Dad's just Australian. Hope he gets drafted, even if it is from South, or even if he is from South. Gabby O'Sullivan, also at Cedar. Is she a good teacher from her brother?
I didn't have her as a teacher, but to some of the boys that I mates with in the other class, definitely enjoyed her teaching me, yeah.
No doubt you got a big job over the next month. South Fremantle on top, as I said, a big chance for you to showcase your skill on the big stage.
Yeah, like sitting on top at the moment. Hopefully we either keep it or drop to second, depending on how South Freo go this week. But yeah, we'll find our way through finals, hopefully, and hopefully we can be out on Optus. But yeah.
We love your work, mate. We've been following with the interest, and we wish you all the best to end up at the Fremantle Dockers. But if it's not there, there's always 17 other clubs you can get involved with. Thanks for your time, and good luck for the finals.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks, Tom.
Thanks, Hase.
Tom Sackle there, and also Toby Whan, the Next Generation Academy product to the Fremantle Dockers from South Fremantle. A good young kid. We'll take a break. You can join in any time on the text machine, 0487 736 736, or call the open line, 13 12 55 is the number.